So while I'm on this dieta, there's obviously a lot of restrictions and limitations on what I can and cannot do, how I spend my time, what I can eat. And while being under these restrictions, my thoughts kind of drifted towards freedom and what freedom is and why we are so obsessed with it in our American culture. So, what is freedom? Basically, I think it's just the ability to make choices, the ability to make lots of different choices. But paradoxically, the more choices we have, the less happy we are with the choices that we make. And I know there's been studies done on this where people have been given an option of 2 or 3 items and then an option of like 10 or 15 items, and each one would make a choice, and then they would go and I would ask them maybe a few days later how happy they are with the choices they make. And naturally, the more choices we have, the more we question the choices that we make. So in America, we have this prime value of freedom and how important it is for us to be free to express ourselves, free to be who we want to be, free to make choices that we want to make. And we would expect that having all that freedom and ability and access to so many different things would make us happy. But it seems like it doesn't really do that. It seems like in America, one of the freest nations on earth, we have such high levels of depression and anxiety and problems with self-esteem, constant need to seek out validation for the choices that we make, for who we are. And it is strange, and it is also sad, because I know people who are so unhappy with the way their life is going, even though they seem to have made all the right choices. They're secure, successful, stable, um, and feel somehow empty and shallow inside. Maybe that's another reason why there's so much of this asusto happening in the Western countries. I believe that we function best with a sense of value, a sense of worth to our community, a sense of contributing and being maybe not recognized or validated, but being appreciated for what we contribute. I think that the people who are able to do that are the people who are by far the happiest and most fulfilled. A sense of belonging is what we really yearn for, not the freedom to go out and fill our lives with a myriad of activities and things, but a sense of being a part of something bigger than ourselves. But the freedoms that we enjoy, in America always come at such a cost, because freedoms are ubiquitous. Everyone has the freedom to make choices. And so we find ourselves kind of spiraling down this, mountain of desires and fulfillment and obsessions with, the gratification, the happiness that we're looking for, because we feel like we want to use our freedom for all that we can get out of it. So we go into this spiral of chasing the joy and the happiness in everything that's available to us, whether it comes to relationships, food, shopping, traveling. There's just no end to what we can fill our lives with on a day-to-day basis. And while these activities can be stimulating and fun, they don't do much to foster a sense of belonging, in terms of our natural, state of bliss. We don't have much that we can honestly contribute uh, to the world because we are so obsessed with ourselves and chasing what we want. I guess freedom ultimately allows us to feel entitled, to be a little selfish, and for that, I think freedom might be a bit of a poison pill. Um, when we live inside of something that is structured, where our choices are limited, our abilities are limited based on the rules that we agree to abide by in a society. The more universal those rules are, the more universally they're applied to everyone, the easier it is for us to follow them. So yeah, in a sense, you know, living in a community, being a part of a community, being a part of a greater whole, being able to contribute something of value, I think is far more valuable to our soul and to our overall sense of joy and accomplishment than being able to go out and buy a new sports car or take a fancy vacation and post all of our pictures everywhere. So yeah, just my thoughts on freedom and kind of how things go in my dieta, where I have very little freedom, and once I accept it, it's not so bad, uh, with the exception of the food. If I had more options or choices with food, I would probably be happier. But overall, it's not so bad. It's something that we can all get used to.